everyone, welcome back to another video. I promise this is the last video about my teeth, but wait, let me just do I want to take off my glasses? I am like barefaced today because I just got out of my usual dental appointment, and now, as you can tell from the title, I am at the next appointment, which is to get my TADs out. So I have about like 5-10 minutes before I need to go into the office, so I thought I would just vlog this little intro, and it will be the last time that you are seeing me with my TADs. Well, technically you don't see my TADs often, but you know they're in, and just one last look at them. I'm so nervous. Hello, there's one back there and another one back there. We have 4 on the top. And if you're new around here, I will link my TADs video so you can find out more information, learn what it is. And of course, this is not medical advice at all. It's just basically me sharing my experience with you and what my doctors have recommended for me and my orthodontic treatment overall. But yeah, there's my disclaimer. And also, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Updike Orthodontists, which you guys know, who have been sponsoring my orthodontic journey. And of course, thank you to Honest Oral Surgeon for sponsoring the TADs part of my orthodontic treatment. So today I will not be getting put under. I am going the local anesthesia route, and I'm very nervous about that because I have no idea how they're going to take out the TADs. I probably won't really record the process because I'm going to be so nervous, and I just don't think that's an appropriate time for me to be filming. So of course I will share all the details afterwards. I've been told it's not too bad because it's bone. You don't really feel that much aside from just pressure. There's not supposed to be pain involved. I'll also be numb. So like, I'm still nervous about it, honestly. I just also had my dental cleaning, and that was a little bit more painful, and they didn't put me under local anesthesia. So I'm like, okay, if I can get through that, I can get through this, and then I'll be done with all my dental appointments for at least a really long time. Stay tuned, and I will see you when I get my TADs off. And just like that, the TADs are out. Okay, so I am still a little bit numb because I used like a numbing jelly. We didn't do any local anesthesia because apparently that hurts more than getting the TADs out. My mouth does feel a little bit of pressure right now, so I probably shouldn't be talking because I'm starting to feel it like hurt a little bit. Basically the 5-minute post-op update. So I'll be back with more in a little bit. All right, so a couple days have passed and I'm finally ready to just sit down and chat about the whole process. So first I'm going to talk about the most anticipated part of this video, which is how did the removal process go and what was it like. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I was so incredibly nervous for this part because, you know, there's physical screws in my mouth and I wasn't being put under, and I didn't know if it was going to be painful or not, even though I knew that, you know, the screws are in my bone and technically there's no nerves around there, so it wasn't supposed to be painful. But what ended up happening is that I checked into my appointment, they got the room set up, and they laid me down, took my blood pressure, or whatever the thing is where it like squeezes your arm. I'm pretty sure that's your blood pressure. They reassured me that it was gonna be really quick, really easy, and not painful at all. So one of the assistants had a numbing jelly, and she just put it all across the top of my gums and left it there for, I would say, 5 minutes. I'm not really sure how much time passed, but they were just numbing up the area. And they did have a little vial of the local anesthesia, but they informed me that, you know, usually the numbing jelly is good enough, and it's actually more painful to get the anesthesia in and it lasts for hours versus just doing it with the numbing jelly. So I was even more nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna be like fully numb. So anyways, the numbing jelly kicked in and they basically just dove right into the process. I honestly had no idea what they were gonna use. It looks like they ended up using like a small little screwdriver. It almost looks like the little wrenches that come in IKEA furniture. Like, it was pretty small, but he started taking off this front one first, and he was like, okay, you're gonna feel a little pinch, but it shouldn't be painful. Let us know if you feel any pain. And I was just like, crap, here we go. So he basically just started unscrewing the screws from my mouth as if it was just like a little IKEA furniture project. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this feels so weird. You feel a lot of pressure. It's not painful, but it's uncomfortable. I would say the first time they loosen up the screw probably feels like the most uncomfortable, but I could also feel the screw like coming out of my mouth, which was also a very weird experience. After the first one came out, he was like, that was quick and easy. Let us know if you want us to use a local anesthesia, but a lot of patients have said that that's more painful than getting the screws out. And because I didn't feel any pain, and especially because I just got a dental cleaning from the dentist, like my pain tolerance was like all over the place and it felt higher than usual. So I was like, okay, just keep going. So he took this one out, and then this one, and then this one last. And I will say the ones on the sides I was the most nervous about because they were kind of like hidden, but he was able to get them out so easily. And then the front ones actually felt the most uncomfortable just because it's like right there, it's like underneath your nose, and you know, it just felt really weird. But the whole process took probably about 30 minutes or less, and that's from the time that they numbed me up until like the last screw was removed. So it's a very quick and easy process. I will say the removal process was really easy. I still don't know what the process was like when I first got them in, and honestly I don't regret going to sleep when they were putting the screws into my mouth, because I think that would have made me so much more anxious versus them taking it out. The damage was already done, like it was easy to remove it. So afterwards there was a little bit of bleeding. They did provide some gauze, which I didn't use because I feel like my mouth stopped the bleeding pretty quickly, and I was too nervous to look at the screws, so I didn't even see how big they were. I would rather be ignorant to that, honestly. There was some bleeding, but like I said, it wasn't painful. I just felt a lot of pressure afterwards, which is normal. And the pressure actually lasted a little bit longer than I thought, which is why it took me a couple days to film this part. It wasn't anything intense, but it definitely affected me when I was talking a lot more. For example, when I would talk in work meetings, I would feel like it would, you know, be a little bit more sore, be a little bit more pressure. I even feel it right now as I'm filming this video. And I did take ibuprofen both days, so the days where I got my screws out and the day afterwards. I haven't taken any today, but I did feel like I was getting a very mild headache, and it was just like pressure going on, which I think is normal, and I think that's how I felt when I first got them in as well. So that was my experience with it after taking out the TADs. And regarding the holes, I will show you what it looked like on the very first day. I thought I was gonna have like gigantic holes in my mouth, but in reality it just looks like a small thumb pick, which it was so funny because Jeff looked at it and he was like, oh, that's underwhelming. I thought it was gonna be like holes in your mouth. And I just kind of laughed because I mean, I thought the same thing, but in reality they just look like little thumbtacks that were just like poked in my mouth, and you know, like that's how big the hole was or how small the hole was. But they are healing pretty well, I would say, and pretty quickly. I have been doing salt water rinses like twice a day, so in the morning and then at night. But that's about it. I try to stay away from foods that could potentially get stuck in the holes, which now that I think about it, I don't know how you really fully prevent that, but just being more cautious of how I eat. But overall, it's been about 3 days now. I feel fine, nothing hurts. The only thing is that when I sleep at night, I sleep on my side, so I feel like these two have been bleeding just like a little bit every night because I wake up and I taste blood in my mouth, so I'm assuming that's what it is. But it's nothing serious. It's not like gushing blood or anything. It's probably like a couple drops of blood that are being released from those little spots because it is still healing. But I will say it feels really nice to finally get those out because I know these two were slowly coming out a little bit more. They definitely protruded more than when I first got them in, and it was just nice to have them out completely. So that was the entire process of how they removed it and how I felt after the fact. But overall, very seamless. The only thing you feel, honestly, like I said, is pressure, and I would prefer that over physical pain because the pressure is a lot easier to deal with. So that basically wraps up this video. Thank you again to Dr. Kim for sponsoring the TADS portion of my orthodontic treatment. I am still so happy with my smile and how it turned out. As you can see, the before and after pictures of using TADS, it has made such a significant difference. One thing I forgot to do is measure how many millimeters my gums receded. As you can tell from the photos, it is quite a lot. But of course, as I mentioned, I am not a medical professional. This is solely my experience, what was recommended for me, and my journey throughout this whole process. And it's gonna look a little different for every person. So let me know if you have any other questions in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!